Thank you very much for your comments. May I draw attention to one of them? John5635 says, these videos always seem to focus on enclosed spaces. Well, look, I'm in one. The stationery cupboard. No, missus, the stationery cupboard. Oh, let's punch some paper and get this stationery cupboard moving. The deep freeze. Yes, Suella Braverman's intellectual prowess. Well, it is entertaining to think that in all of these enclosed spaces, there's clearly a sort of a bag of Brussels sprouts or frozen peas. When dead Putin is sidling up to the up to the vegetables, I'm Putin in the vegetable department in the deep freeze. I'm afraid by the time he's pulled out of there, he will have become sort of bound up with the Brussels sprouts. They'll think, oh, is that Brussels sprouts or is that just piles? I have no idea. Poor Mr. Putin. He suffers so for the cause of his of posterity, does he not? By being locked away for so long until it seems a suitable moment, rather like burying Mary, Queen of Scots. I think she was buried about 6 months after she actually had her head chopped off, because Queen Elizabeth was too worried about whether or not her son would launch an attack from Scotland in the event he couldn't give a damn. But when he did come to the throne as James the he built a monumental effigy for his mother and stuffed Elizabeth in a little corner. And in fact, I think they're both found in the same chapel in Westminster, in the Henry VIII chapel. Or is it Henry VII chapel? I can't remember. And there they are, side by side, in quite monumental splendour, really. But I can't imagine that Mary, Queen of Scots, would have liked that. But then she wouldn't have liked the eventual funeral she was given in Peterborough Cathedral, because it was Protestant, and she was very firmly an avowed Catholic. That's partly why she had her head chopped off, I suppose. Anyway, but thank you so much for your comments. They are always entertaining, and I am so pleased that somebody's noticed that everything seems to be quite insular in my worldview. It's not entirely true. I don't think I think of everything in enclosed spaces, but it is true that the stationery cupboard has been parked for a little while, and I think it should be wheeled out occasionally, because I quite enjoyed rustling through the stationery cupboard with Matt Hancock. And it's always, isn't it always interesting what you find in unknown places? But maybe we can start I don't think we should rustle through the deep freeze of Mr. Putin. I don't know what we would find down there. So I think it's better to leave that alone. Somebody says that John Morrow says, I think you're a cat person. If you were a dog walker, you wouldn't be so confused. No, I was brought up with dogs and cats and all manner of interesting barnyard animals, and I'm a cat person by default, not by intent. And at the moment, I don't have any cats or dogs, sadly. And I must say, I miss the companionship. I miss the warmth. I'm having to fill my own hot water bottles now. It's so much better with a cat or a dog. I don't really mind. I subscribe to the old sort of country adage, I think, of come round to the house, and if you feel cold, get a dog or a cat, and that will keep you warm. It really does. And it's also another being who has a sort of permanent conversation with you, and I find that rather entertaining. As for the person who says, now where is it now? So Ed Davey, strangely absent today, was the video, and California Dreaming says, I'm disappointed with this video. It's verging on gossip. There are a number of people who go on about their disappointment, mostly whenever I mention Prince Harry or Meghan, or don't mention them, and they say, "Oh, I'm so disappointed with you," and I think I scratch my head and think, what have I said that causes such disappointment? Often nothing. Often I think that people just go around the place adding their disappointment because it looks good. Um, but what should we say there? I am disappointed. I think people need a bigger lexicon. Think of some other words than disappointed.